What's up guys, it's Lily from Downtown Lax, and today we're going to be going over the basic shooting mechanics for lacrosse. To simplify it, there are 5 main components that you need to think about when you're about to take a shot. First is feet, second is hips, third is core, fourth is hands, and fifth is head. The first key is foot placement. So what I mean by this is basically just where you take your step to shoot. I'm going to be taking my step towards the goal. So my front foot is going to be planted right towards the goal, facing the goal. If I were to take a step C to you, well, when I try to wrap my hips around, I don't get a lot of power. So that's the first key, is always make sure that your foot is placed towards the goal so you can maximize the power. The second key is hips. Hips are definitely the most important mechanic in shooting. As we know, lacrosse is a rotational sport, meaning that all of our power comes from the rotation of the body. Not just our hips, but our whole body. Our head, our shoulders, our hands, we're all rotating to maximize that power. What I mean by that is when we take a step, and let's say I want to shoot the ball at the goal, when I take a step and I try to just shoot as hard as I can, that's as hard as I can shoot it. Whereas if I were to stand perpendicular and take a wind up and rotate my entire body, let's see how much power I get now. A lot more power. If you've ever watched Charlotte North do a wind-up shot, you can see how much she rotates her entire body and she whips it around in like a millisecond. It's insane. And that's how she gets all of her power. It's not necessarily from her arms or her legs. A lot of it is the hip rotation, which brings us to our next key, which is core. Your core is basically stabilizing everything in your body. When I'm trying to take a shot and my core's all loose and everything's sloppy, I can't get a lot of power because nothing's tightened and ready to perform. So none of my muscles are ready. But when I tighten my core and actively engage it, then it can control the hips and I can get a lot more power from everything. A lot of times you'll hear your coach say use your core, but you don't really know how to. Basically, when you're about to turn your hips, you should feel your core tighten so that you're able to have more power and strength in your hips. Because when we don't and we're all loosey-goose, everything's sloppy. So that's basically the main difference, is without the core you're sloppy, with the core you're tight and you're ready to be agile and move at any second. The next key is hand placement. There are 2 parts to shooting, your top hand and your bottom hand. The top hand is what's snapping the ball down, and the bottom hand is what's pulling to your side. In essence, you aim with your top hand and you get your power and pull with your bottom hand. A lot of times when people are first learning to shoot, they'll go ahead and they'll try to snap their top hand, but they don't know what to do with their bottom hand. So this is why it's very important to learn early that when you're shooting, you're pulling your bottom hand to your pocket. So you're basically just pulling it to your side, right? So I'm pulling it down into my side, and the top hand is snapping and then it's being brought down. So when you're done snapping, that's the release point. So if I want to go high, then I'm finishing my snap here. But if I'm going low, then I'm snapping all the way down and I'm bringing my stick around. But in both cases, you're going to be doing a full follow through. And your follow through, you should always have your bottom hand on your side and your top hand in your pocket. Another key detail for hand placement is your top hand. It's perfectly fine to play around with if you like your hand a little lower, a little higher up, especially if you're a little younger and you need to have your hand a little higher up to get more power. But the main thing to focus on for all of these is having your top hand in a 90-degree angle, or I like to call it the L shape. So what I mean by this is your arm is going to look like an L, and it's going to be a perfect 90-degree angle. So once you set that up wherever you want your top hand to be, and then you have your 90-degree angle, you're going to just slap on your bottom hand, and then you're going to go and take your shot. Another cool thing is that your bottom hand can also guide your top hand where you want to shoot. So if I want to shoot low, my elbow of this bottom hand is kind of facing low. And that makes my arms go a little up higher so that I can get a lot of power. But if I want to shoot high and I tilt my arm up and use this as an aim, it automatically tilts my arms a little more down into the L shape. I'm still always in an L shape, I'm just changing levels a little bit. The last key is your head and your eyes. A mistake that I make a lot is when I'm about to shoot and I do all of the previous motions that we've done, the last thing that I do is look at the target. So this makes me very slow to react, and a lot of times I miss my target by a lot. To prevent this, you want to turn your head and your eyes to look at your target first. So when I'm taking my wind-up shot and I'm ready to go, I'm gonna look, and then I'm gonna flip my hips, my foot, my core, my arms, and I'm already at my target. So I'm already looking at my target, so then I can react really well. I like to practice this by setting up my shot, looking, taking a step, and shooting. It's important to take time to do form shots every day. So a lot of times when I'm in my backyard, I'm just taking a step and I'm shooting it. And I'm working on all of these 5 keys to maximize my power and my aim. Once you have perfect form in all of these areas, then you can move on to wind-up shots. There are 2 ways to do a wind-up shot. You can either do a shuffle or a crow hop. Both ways are just fine. I personally prefer the crow hop because I feel like I can really flip my hips around with the second hop. Have fun and play around with these skills, and remember, it's not just going to get perfect the first time you do it. So take it from me, I'm still learning how to do my form perfectly. Thanks for watching this video on shooting fundamentals. Click here to watch the next video on shooting on the run.